What's happening, everybody? I appreciate you checking in. All right, let's talk about our free agents in the secondary. Yesterday, I posted a video that broke down our free agents, who I want to bring back and who I be okay with walking away from when it came to our interior defensive linemen, edge rushers, as well as the linebackers. And we're going to touch on the secondary in this video. My next video is going to be all about the offensive side, but let's touch on the secondary. And I'm going to give you my opinion as to who I want to prioritize and potentially bring back and who I'm okay with walking away from. So I'm going to give you my opinion, but make sure you get ready in that comment section. Let me know what you think and let me know what your feedback is on this as well. And so before I get into it, if you can, hit that like button and subscribe. My next giveaway is at 4,500 subscribers. So if you want to be including that, hit that subscribe button. It's just my way of saying thank you and show my appreciation. But again, before we get into it, if you are in the Vegas area tomorrow, which will be Sunday, February 23rd, 1 p.m., myself, Chris, PETE CARROLL podcast, as well as the Severe Raider. We're going to be at Barcode Burger at 1 o'clock in Las Vegas. Tonight, which is Saturday, is the maxxcrosby dinner for the Commitment to Excellence Award. So there's a lot of people in town that are going to be attending that dinner. And we're saying, hey, if you're a local in the Vegas area, but also if you're attending the dinner and you're staying throughout the weekend through Sunday, come link up with us. Come meet up, chop it up about the Raiders, just the off-season Raider Nation meetup, Barcode Burger, 1 p.m. So if you're in the area and you're going to be in Vegas, hit us up, Barcode Burger, 1 p.m. So appreciate it. Let's jump back into it. All right, so let's talk about free agents. All right, first we'll talk about kind of who's existing on our current roster, who's not a free agent, right? You got guys, one of our seventh round picks last year, Trey Taylor. You also got both our corners, right? You got Jack Jones, you got Jacorian Bennett. All right, Trey Taylor didn't get much playing time at all last year. I think he got a little bit of special teams work, but that's it. So it remains to be seen kind of what we have out of him. The tricky part about looking at this defense is we brought Patrick Graham back. So you want to continue to keep some of that chemistry. You want some of those leaders to still be on this defense to kind of help coach up and teach up some of these guys that will be new to the defense next year, because there's going to be new faces. Let's throw that out there. You got Pete Carroll, which is more of a defensive guy, and he's already put a stamp on this defense when it comes to the coaching staff. He's bringing in some of his guys that he wants to see be on this coaching staff and help coach this defense up. And so you're going to see new names, new faces, and you're going to see some of these guys walk. You can't bring on everybody. And so we're going to see guys walk, but I do think because of Patrick Graham and because Pete Carroll wants to win now, let's be dead honest, he's in win now mode. I think we're going to see more pieces stay together on the defensive side than we would on the offensive side. And I went over the front seven, the D-line, edge rushers, and linebackers in my previous video. Go check that out. But again, we're going to talk about the defensive backs. And so we got Trey Taylor. We'll see what he has. He's a rookie, still on a rookie contract. We'll see how that plays out. But then you got Jacorian Bennett and Jack Jones. I'll tell you right now, if Jacorian Bennett can continue to do what he did last year, we may have ourselves our number one corner. So let's see how he works off of that injury and see if he can continue off of what he showed last season. Now, Jack Jones, completely different story. Jack Jones showed that he has potential to be a good corner, but he's extremely undisciplined. The amount of times that he tries to just jump and make that big play, and sometimes he hits it and sometimes he doesn't. But that just shows just how undisciplined he is. But then there's also times where he's shown that he can be a very good corner as it relates to watching film, having good study habits to show that he understands what the opposing offense, what they want to do in some of their tendencies. And that's why he's been able to kind of jump some of those passes and get those pick sixes. It's shown that he understands how to break down the film and understand the tendencies, but he gets ahead of himself at times, and that's where the discipline comes into play. He also has to show he can consistently come up and want to make plays in that run game and is willing to come up and make those tackles and be a force in the run game as well. And so, again, we'll see how Patrick Graham as well as Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll has done a very good job of developing young defensive backs in the secondary. Let's see how well Pete Carroll can reach out to Jack Jones and develop him a little bit further and see, can he be that true solid number two corner on this roster. And so that's kind of who we got. Oh, I'm sorry. One guy to talk about is DC Richardson as well. Our 4th round draft pick of last year. He got substantial playing time. Didn't look very good, but you got to remember that's what happened to Jacorian Bennett. Jacorian Bennett did not look very good his rookie year, but he was able to develop well in the offseason last year and then show that he can produce. We'll see what DC Richardson can do as well. He's a tall, lengthy corner, has some speed on him. At the very minimum, DC Richardson could be a good depth piece moving forward and project for Pete Carroll in the secondary. And now let's talk about the free agents and some of the smaller names that don't get a lot of hype. You got Sam Webb and Kai Blue Kelly. Those are two guys that are, I believe, both of them are exclusive rights free agents, so we can't offer them basically a vet minimum, or I think league minimum contract, and it's up to them to accept it. But both of those guys, look, because you got Pete Carroll in the building, I wouldn't be surprised if we just kind of let them walk. But I expect us to potentially get somebody in the draft as well as somebody through free agency. So Sam Webb, Kai Blue Kelly, I wouldn't be surprised if we move on from them. Now let's talk about some of the bigger names. I'll start with Nate Hobbs. Nate Hobbs is a guy that I keep going back to it. Your best ability is availability. And as much as I love Nate Hobbs's game, I love the aggressiveness that he brings to it. I think he could be a damn good slot corner in this league if he can stay healthy. And that's the hard part, is can he stay healthy? I'm not going to pay somebody that is not going to be on the field. And developing and finding slot corners is probably one of the hardest things to do in the league. To play slot corner, you need to have so much anticipation and just football instincts when it comes to that position. You got to be able to just understand what the offense wants to do, and you got to be able to have the instincts and understanding of what that offensive player, that slot receiver, wants to do. And sometimes you can't coach that. You can't coach the instincts that some people have, and Nate Hobbs has that. He's proven that. He shows it. But at the same time, he can't stay healthy. You know, again, I'm going to kind of go back real quick. A slot corner is one of the hardest things to develop and find because, look, you're trying to guard one of the quickest receivers on that offensive side, and he can have a two-way go wherever he wants. You got, not only do you have to guard him when he's stationary, but then they also like to put slot guys in motion. And now when you put them in motion, now, not only is it just guarding that player and understanding what his tendencies are, it's now understanding where is your potential help, right? How are you going to guard this guy when he has the release of the entire football field? Guarding a number one receiver sometimes isn't easy, but it can be easier when you know you have the sideline as help, right? You can get inside leverage. You can line up a little bit more inside, knowing that you have help to the sideline. You might be on the field side, which is the side of the field that has more field to it, right? And so that means that now that quarterback has a longer distance to throw that football. And so you can leverage yourself that way. But again, with a slot corner, it's very difficult because you now have to defend this guy with the entire field to play with. And so again, trying to find a slot corner is very difficult. But if Nate Hobbs can't be on the field, I'm not going to pay him. I'm not going to pay him, and I'm going to go ahead and move on from him because, again, there's other big names that I'd like to prioritize moving into this offseason. And so one name that I will bring up is Darnay Holmes. Darnay Holmes, he's also a free agent, and he showed some promise last year. You know, he's a guy that can potentially play in that slot corner position. And so if you bring him back at a very inexpensive deal, which I think that's what he'll require, is something fairly inexpensive, then you put that trust in Pete Carroll. You put trust in this defensive secondary, the coaching staff, to be able to develop him into a potential slot corner because he showed promise last year. Bring him in as a depth piece and potentially competition. And now you have that leverage. You have that flexibility to be able to find somebody in the draft or maybe even somebody in free agency to come in and replace Nate Hobbs. It won't be easy. I'm not saying it will be easy, but at the end of the day, you got to put some trust in the coaching staff to develop somebody. And so Darnay Holmes, I would not be mad, and I wouldn't be surprised if we bring him back at a team-friendly deal to kind of have that competition piece as the slot corner. And so let me know in the comment section down below, what are your thoughts on Nate Hobbs? Do you want us to bring him back? Let me know in the comment section down below. Now, next, let's look at Marcus Epps. Now, Marcus Epps was brought in to be the leader of the secondary, and unfortunately, again, he got hurt. For me, because there's other players that I want to prioritize, and if Marcus Epps is going to look for a decent payday, then I'm not going to give it to him. That's just me. I do think Marcus Epps could be a damn good addition to this defense, but again, I think there's other players that I want to prioritize moving forward in other positions, whether it be, again, I stated in my previous video, whether it be an Adam Butler, a Robert Spillane, maybe even a Malcolm Kuntz. I think that there's a lot of pieces, not only in free agency, but also in this draft. This draft has some very good safeties that we could potentially target in the third, maybe even fourth round that can come in and replace Marcus Epps. So I'm going to go ahead and let Marcus Epps walk. Again, if he wants a decent payday, I don't want to give it to him. So I'm going to let Marcus Epps walk. Let me know in the comment section down below what you think of Marcus Epps. Now we got two big players. You got Trayvon Merrick and you got Isaiah Pola-Mao. I'm going to touch on Trayvon Merrick first. Before I do, let me know what your thoughts on Trayvon Merrick. I think Trayvon Merrick is going to look for a decent payday, right? He's now out of his rookie contract. This is going to be your second contract, and this is where you want your payday. Trayvon Merrick did extremely well in Patrick Graham's system. Now, are there some guys out there in free agency that can do, I don't want to say just as good as Trayvon Merrick did, because Trayvon Merrick played a lot in the box. What Patrick Graham showed last year is that he liked to run a lot of 4-2, maybe even a 5-2 set when you bring the safety in the box. Trayvon Merrick came in, and I think Trayvon Merrick played even better than Divine Diablo, kind of in the box, lined up in that linebacker type position. And so bringing a safety in the box, Trayvon Merrick showed that he is a absolute beast when it came to playing in the box. And I want to bring that back. I think Trayvon Merrick could be the heartbeat of the secondary moving forward. And so because he plays so well in Patrick Graham's system, and I think that if we're going to find any success next year, I think it starts with the defensive side. I'm going to prioritize a little bit more when it comes to the defensive free agents than I will offense, to show that we can basically take a page from not only what we did the previous year, last year, Christmas Day, we beat up on Kansas City through our defense. You look at what the Eagles just did in the Super Bowl. I'm going to take that page and continue that route in building up this defense and show that we can continue to get after these AFC West teams. We got to shut down Bo Nix. We got to shut down Herbert, and we got to shut down this KC offense. And I'll tell you, when the KC offense gets some of these weapons back, like Rashid Rice, once he comes back, they're going to be a threat. They're going to have an entire offseason to kind of build up this offense. We have to understand that KC's offense is going to get better, right? They had a lot of injuries, and so we got to be prepared for it. And so the way that you enforce that, the way that you counter that, is make sure that you prioritize the defense. And I really liked what I saw at Trayvon Merrick, and so I definitely want to prioritize Trayvon Merrick going into the 2025 season. So let me know in the comment section down below what your thoughts are on Trayvon Merrick. And then next is Isaiah Pola-Mao. Isaiah Pola-Mao, I was stoked when we re-signed him last year. I think he's a tall, lengthy safety that can play sideline to sideline. I think he can be that safety that can play at the top of the defense, right? You're the last line of defense. He can work sideline to sideline. And one thing to remember, Isaiah Pola-Mao is a restricted free agent, so he can go and teams can offer him, and we just have the ability to match it. That's it. Again, I'm okay. This salary cap has increased this year, and is projected to continue to increase. Right. And so I'm okay with being able to maybe give Isaiah Pola-Mao a 2-year contract, maybe pay him a little bit more than the market is showing, because of the fact that he has that chemistry with Patrick Graham. He's got this chemistry with the majority of this defense. And because of just how well he played this past season, and we can keep that chemistry together, I'd be willing to give him a little more than what another team is offering, or even match it. That's all we have to do, is match the contract depending on what it looks like. And so I'm excited to see if we bring back Isaiah Pola-Mao and kind of keep this secondary together a little bit, and then find a replacement for Marcus Epps, and maybe find a replacement for Nate Hobbs in the draft, and allow Pete Carroll and this coaching staff to develop these next upcoming guys. And so that's just my take on the secondary. So guys, I talked about the front seven in my previous video. I definitely want to prioritize Adam Butler. If we don't, maybe Mason Graham at pick number 6. If Malcolm Kuntz wants a absolute bag, getting 20 mil, that's his projected, let him walk. Bring on Kavlevon Chasen. And when we continue to talk with maxxcrosby and potentially extend him, give him his money, so we can keep this front seven together, continue to get after that quarterback. But I want to keep Robert Spillane, because if you let Divine Diablo walk and Robert Spillane walk, and now you're starting from ground zero, there are some linebackers in this draft that if you keep Robert Spillane for a 2, maybe 3-year deal, and then you bring in a young linebacker to be able to play side by side with Robert Spillane, I think this could be a very deadly defense moving forward, because I do like some linebackers in this upcoming NFL draft. And so again, guys, this is just my take. I appreciate it. Let me know in the comment section below what you think. Once again, just so you guys know, if you're in town on the 23rd, Sunday, 1 p.m., Barcode Burger, myself, Chris Protect Show Podcast, as well as the Severe Raider, we're going to be there ready to chop it up with the Raider Nation, get together with everybody, and put some names to faces. So appreciate you. If you guys are in town, come hit us up. But again, hit that like button, subscribe, turn those notifications. My next giveaway is at 4,500 subscribers. If you want to be included, hit that subscribe button. But if I don't see you on Sunday, we usually go live on Sundays, but we won't, obviously, because we'll be at the event. But I'm definitely gonna drop a video showing you guys what that event looks like. Because if we rock out and it's successful, then we'll definitely do something during the season and try to reach it out to all you guys. So I appreciate you. Have a great rest of your weekend. I'll see you on the next one. I'm out.